Hey guys, it's Stefanie Legacy, and I'm here to welcome you to my new YouTube channel where I encourage you to love your life and live your legacy. So, three main things that I plan to focus on this channel, which some may apply to you, some may not, but I really encourage you to just stick around and listen for the things that do, is first, debt-free living. Second will be dealing with a health journey such as PCOS, which is very specific and near and dear to my heart. And number three is living a child-free life. I understand that sometimes that isn't for everybody, but that can go hand in hand with the PCOS journey, such as what I've had. And I just want to share an alternative perspective that isn't necessarily mainstream in terms of living without children. So one of the first things that I want to spend some time talking about today was debt-free living. My husband and I are avid fans of debt-free living. We, started out debt-free living really just on our own and based on how we grew up and the principles that our parents instilled in us. But along the way, and since we've reached our debt-free milestones, I have found that not everything, but a lot of what Dave Ramsey says tends to resonate with me. So when I'm looking for additional encouragement that I maybe can't find in my day-to-day life, I tend to look to things like YouTube or Instagram and try to find other people that emulate some of those values so you don't necessarily feel so alone. Recently, I was listening to a Dave Ramsey live seminar, and they had Pastor Craig Groeschel on there giving a discussion about how to battle debt. And I actually took some notes, so I'm going to be looking over to the side a little bit to try and make sure that I'm capturing what he said in the best summary that I can. But I just found it really impactful, and I wanted to share with you some of those key nuggets. So, as you know, Dave Ramsey focuses on getting out of the bondage of debt and living like no one else today so you can live like no one else tomorrow. And having achieved a completely debt-free lifestyle, I will agree. I know it's not for everybody, and I know people have different approaches in terms of how they manage their finances, but the peace that you can have at night when your head hits the pillow knowing that nobody owes you for nobody owns you for anything because you don't owe anybody anything, aside from whatever your monthly bills are, that is priceless. So the first thing that Pastor Craig focused on is he said, who do you want to be? And you have to focus on the who before the do, which I thought was interesting. So how are you going to train to become that person? He said a lot of times we focus on what we're doing, what we should be doing, but really when you get focused on who you are, you'll notice that you've just been trying for far too long. And it's time to stop trying and time to start training. So for example, if you were going to be on a marathon, you wouldn't say, I'm trying to run a marathon. You would say, I am training to run a marathon, because you are a marathon runner or you are an athlete. So he says that to try is to attempt to change something with minimal commitment, but to train is a wholehearted commitment. And there you take on specific commitments to achieve specific results. And I thought this was really impactful. If you think about working towards a debt-free lifestyle, you are taking on specific actions to become debt-free. And so that's what he's talking about in this case. This could also be applied to a health journey. When you are trying to, for example, lose weight, you aren't just, there I said it, you're not trying, you are training to lose weight. You are taking intentional steps to reach a specific result and a specific goal. So you train to act according to what you've committed to and not your feelings. When you know that it's clear that you are a person who lives a debt-free life, you will act in accordance with that. So he quotes 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verses 24 through 25. Everyone who competes goes into strict training. They do it to get a crown that will not last. We do it to get a crown that lasts forever. Now, I'm not going to get all biblical here and say that debt-free living is akin to being spiritual or godly or anything like that. But I will say that when you have debt, something else is your master and something else owns you. When you do not have debt, you are free, like I said, from those burdens. He then went on to talk about a term called, from back in the day, in the biblical times, called I can't even pronounce it, agonizomai. And it's to contend for victory. It means to strain with every nerve towards the goal. And so that's really what they focus on in the Dave Ramsey School of Thought, is to put every single effort into becoming debt-free. I'll get further into detail in other videos about what our debt-free journey is and how we've done things, like how I paid off about $72,000 in student loans in about 24 months prior to getting married to my husband. So on single income. But I think this makes a lot of sense when you think about debt-free living, or any other goal and result that you're working towards. You have to be laser focused on what that is and not be distracted by the crowd or your friends or the, relaxing celebration that's going to be there for you when you're done. You have to really stay focused on what's ahead of you. So again, he just closes out his discussion by saying, when you know who you are, you'll know what to do. Identity drives actions. So because I am training, there is a purpose to every single step. We're going to stop trying and we are going to start training. And I think, just to wrap that up, now that we've achieved our debt-free lifestyle, I've kind of said, okay, well, what's next? What am I training for? I'm training for my future still. I'm training for retirement. I'm training for the gifts that I want to bless my friends and family with. I'm training for the charitable things that I can give to society and ways that I can give back to bless what I've been given. As it pertains to health, I'm training to be a healthy person with PCOS. I'm training to decrease my inflammation. I'm training to not feel depressed when I think about the fact that I have to battle with PCOS for the rest of my life. I am training to find and to be happy in a relationship with my husband on a daily basis. Anyone who's in a relationship knows that that takes constant work towards a goal. So I just thought that shift of talking about training versus trying in terms of how you approach things and what your mindset might be could be helpful if you're beginning to think about your debt-free journey. I encourage you to comment down below. Let me know what type of journey you're on. What are you training for? Are you also trying to be debt-free? Are you also working towards a goal? How are you going to shift your mindset from trying to training? And also, of course, I would be remiss if I didn't say to like and subscribe to this video for more content like this. I will try my hardest not to let you down and to continue to provide value for you. For the time being, I thank you for stopping in, paying attention, and spending some of your valuable time with me. And again, I remind you to love your life and live your legacy. Have a great night, everybody.